The Red Book was never meant to be read by the public. It was a containment field, a psychic weapon forged by a man who thought he was losing his mind. Carl Jung wasn't writing theory. He was bleeding onto a page. Every image, every serpent, every god was a fragment of his own breakdown turned into scripture. He painted his nightmares into order. He gave names to the forces that possessed him, and in doing so, he built something no one else had ever built. A manual for surviving contact with the unconscious. But the truth will shock you. The Red Book isn't just a diary, it's a ritual weapon, designed to turn madness into revelation. When Jung's visions began in 1913, he thought he was descending into psychosis. For months he saw floods drowning Europe, corpses rising, cities burning. He heard voices whispering his name. He watched archetypes crawl out of his dreams into daylight. He nearly broke. What he did next changed psychology forever. He didn't suppress the voices. He started speaking back. He opened what he called the imagination door. Sat in silence and waited for the image to speak first. This was not analysis. It was invocation. Every night he descended into what he called the interior fact, a realm where figures spoke in riddles and symbols. He drew them, argued with them, loved them, feared them. He recorded everything in crimson ink. He called this process active imagination. But it wasn't a metaphor. It was neural rewiring through myth. When you imagine vividly enough, your brain treats it as real. Networks of emotion, vision, and memory synchronize. Dream logic becomes circuitry. Symbol becomes code. That's what Jung was doing, writing executable symbols into his psyche. What magicians call sigils, he called symbols of transformation. And the Red Book became his spell book. But why does this matter to you? Because your mind is doing the same thing every night. Dreams are the rough drafts of your mythology. Ignore them and they become infections. Engage them and they become fuel. Jung learned that the unconscious isn't chaos. It's intelligence disguised as madness. The trick is learning how to translate it before it consumes you. Neuroscience caught up a century later. When imagination is engaged with full attention, the brain's default mode network, the narrator of self, collapses. The barrier between inner and outer reality softens. Emotional memory reconsolidates. New patterns are written. In ritual terms, death and rebirth. The Red Book is a map of that transformation. Each page a neural initiation. Each image a feedback loop between emotion and symbol. Jung faced his daimon, Philemon, a blue-winged old man who appeared in his visions. He didn't dismiss him as fantasy. He treated him as a teacher. That single act reframed all of psychology. By dialoguing with the archetype, Jung made the invisible world legible. He turned hallucination into communication. That is the weapon turning possession into participation, but let's bring it closer. Try something. Close your eyes after this video ends. Picture a figure that feels charged, a recurring face from dream or memory. Don't force it. Let it arrive. Then ask it one question. What do you want me to understand? Don't judge the answer. Just listen. Then write what you hear. That's how the Red Book began. A conversation between man and myth. You'll feel resistance. That's the shadow flinching under exposure. Stay with it. Name the feeling. Describe the image. The act of description itself is containment. Words are wards. When you can name the monster, it becomes your messenger. Some will say Jung went insane. They're half right. He entered the storm on purpose. He walked through psychosis and mined it for structure. What he brought back was the foundation of depth psychology. The idea that symbols evolve us. The Red Book wasn't his madness. It was his exorcism. We call it art therapy now. We call it neuroplasticity. But beneath the language, it's ritual. The nervous system learns through repetition, story, and emotion. Jung just rediscovered the ancient method. Think of it like this. Each image in that crimson manuscript was a neuron cluster learning a new pattern. Each dialogue rewired a circuit of fear into curiosity. Each vision turned a breakdown into design. That's what makes the Red Book a weapon. It doesn't protect you by denying darkness. It arms you by teaching you to negotiate with it. The Church teaches suppression. Science teaches observation. Jung taught conversation, and that changed everything. Madness is when the archetype speaks and the ego refuses to answer. Sanity is when the two become allies. The Red Book is the truce. You don't need a monastery or microscope. You need ink, stillness, and the courage to meet what rises from below. If you can face that, you have your own Red Book waiting to be written. Because one truth remains. You are haunted by what you ignore. But the moment you give it language, you forge a weapon. This was Jung's secret. He didn't cure his demons. He employed them. The Red Book is the record of that war and that alliance. A weapon made of vision and blood. A book that stares back. So now it's your turn. When the image comes, don't run. When the shadow whispers, write. Build your own weapon. Carve your symbols in the dark. Because in the end, what saved Jung wasn't theory. It was ritual. And what saves us isn't belief. It's the courage to imagine consciously. Write what hunts you before it writes you. Subscribe if you're ready to forge your own Red Book. The next ritual begins soon. If this video shifted something in your mind, you're ready for the next level. download my free ritual guide in the description. No catch, just pure psychological alchemy you can use tonight. If you want to go deeper, hit the initiation playlist. It's your step-by-step journey into breaking unconscious patterns and mastering your own mind. Both links are waiting below. Your transformation starts now. Until next time.